Japanese adjectives can be tricky for English speakers as not all Japanese adjectives translate directly from English. In this episode, we will tackle some common mistakes about Japanese adjectives that beginner level learners often make. それでは始めましょう。Let's start with this adjective, 元気。When I ask my students, 今日何を食べましたか? I often hear this phrase as an answer. 元気な朝ごはんを食べました。The word 元気 is usually translated as healthy, but the word 元気 basically used for people and animals and sometimes for plants to express their health condition or vitality.You don't use it for non-living things such as breakfast or other objects unless you want to use it metaphorically to describe the condition of objects, such as this car is still running well, when you can use the word 元気 and say この車はまだ元気です. This car is still healthy.And then you can use the word 元気 metaphorically that way, but not if you want to describe your healthy breakfast. So what word should you use to describe a healthy breakfast? Well, you can use the English word ヘルシー, which is a Japanese English word commonly used to mean healthy.If you'd like to learn a Japanese word for healthy when talking about objects, here's a new word for you. 健康的. It means healthy or hygienic. 健康 means physical health. And then you can say 健康的な朝ごはん to mean healthy breakfast or 健康的な生活healthy lifestyle. Let's talk about another adjective, つまらない boring. In English, it's common to use this adjective boring for objects to express that they are uninteresting. You would say in English, I have so many boring hats in my closet. However, in Japanese, つまらない is mainly used to describe people, actions or events and not used for objects. The word つまらない often carries the nuance that the object is not only uninteresting but also worthless or meaningless. It feels unnatural to evaluate a hat itself as worthless. Instead, in Japanese, when describing an object, the specific characteristics of the object, such as plain, outdated, shabby, or tacky, are often used to describe it. So, つまらない帽子 can be 地味な帽子, a plain hat, or 古臭い帽子, outdated hat, instead of つまらない. Let's take a look at another adjectives. きれい beautiful. In English, we say a beautiful day or beautiful weather. But in Japanese, we don't say きれいな天気. The word きれい means beautiful and usually used to express visual beauty or cleanliness. For example, when you say きれいな花, it means beautiful flower, or きれいな hair means clean room, and it refers to something that is visually beautiful or clean and tidy. So for the weather, it is more natural to say いい天気, which includes the broader expression of the weather. It includes not just the visual beauty of the weather, but it includes the temperature, humidity, the pleasant and comfortable feelings about the weather, and so on. As a comprehensive evaluation of the weather, いい天気 is generally used than きれいな天気. You can specify the beauty of the sky as きれいな空 or きれいな雲 because you can visually look at them. But overall weather will be いい天気 not きれいな天気. Speaking of the word E, let's confirm its meaning. The word E means good and nice, and it can also mean very useful or very comfortable to comment about some objects. いいです, it is good, is a phrase you can use to make positive comments about objects. For example, you can say いいです to describe a pen or tablet or furniture. You can say このペンはいいです or このベッドはいいです to mean it's very comfortable. However, the phrase いいです alone is a plain statement and giving everyone a cut and dry feelings. It is a straightforward statement without any added nuance. So when you use the word いいです to comment on something being good, it often comes with degree adverbs like とても or すごく. They both mean very, but すごく is more colloquial than とても. And using these words makes いいです sound more natural. For example, you drive this car and you really like this car. You can say この車はとてもいいです or すごくいいです rather than just say この車はいいです. Adding the degree adverbs to the phrase いいです make it sound more natural and make your conversation more friendly and interactive. And if you want to make the phrase いいです even more natural, add an ending particle such as ね or よ. You very often hear me say いいですね during my lessons. Adding ね at the end expresses agreement, approval, or appreciation of something. So when I say いいですね, it is not just a plain good, but it gives more friendly tone of my appreciation. Adding よ at the end, depending on the context, can indicate that I am giving permission if someone asks if they can do something. Alternatively, it can show my agreement as in that's fine. So if someone suggests a plain idea, for example, if someone asks, can I use this pen? I might respond with いいですよ, meaning yes, that's fine. If someone asks about my channel, Moyo Sensei's YouTube channel, responding with とてもいいですよ is very natural to let them know that it is a very good channel. It sounds much more natural than just saying いいです. When you add ね at the end, like in the phrase すごくいいね, you are agreeing with the person who asked about the channel. Most likely, this person already knows about the channel, enjoys watching it, and is seeking confirmation from you. So by saying すごくいいね, you are expressing agreement and sharing your positive opinion. Let's look at the different situation as an example. I had my hair cut the other day, and I would ask my family members, how's my new haircut? So this is casual speech style. このヘアカットどう? And I would expect them to say, ああ、とてもいいよ。すごくいいよ as a feedback for my new haircut. So the word いいです sounds more natural with ending particles such as ね or よ. You rarely hear me saying いいです alone without any ending particles. So とてもいいですね。すごくいいですよ. Those are the phrases that you'd like to use to make it sound more natural and convey a more complete expression of agreement or approval. Let's continue to talk about the adjective E and the misusage of the phrase いいです. いいです is typically used to describe objects, situation, or general conditions and rarely used for people. In English, you might say, my brother is good to refer to a good brother, but the literal translation, 私の弟はいいです sounds very unnatural. Same thing for this sentence. 山田さんはいいです. It doesn't really translate as Mr. Yamada is good. It sounds weird. Using いいです alone is too vague and doesn't provide enough information about what makes the person good. So one way to describe your brother being good is to use the adjective E as a modifier and tell listeners what part of that person is good. Is he good as a person? Is he good as a student? So let's take a look at these examples where E is used as a modifier. 弟はいい人です. You modify 人, a person, with the adjective E. Or you can describe your brother to be a good student saying 弟はいい学生です. You can also say たけしはいい弟です. Takeshi is a good brother. In this way, you are correctly describing your brother to be a good brother. How do you say Mr. Yamada is a good father? You say 山田さんはいいお父さんです. How do you say Moyo Sensei is good? You say モヨ先生はいい先生です. And of course you can say いい towards any objects, like Lexus はいい車です. Now here is a sneak preview of a new sentence structure used to describe people's physical attributes and personality in Japanese, specifically using the phrase いいです. The sentence structure is X は Y がいいです. And we'll discuss this sentence structure in a later episode as we advanced in our beginner level Japanese. For now, remember that you can't say 私の弟はいいです to mean my brother is good. You must use E as a modifier to talk about people. Another usage of the phrase いいです is to mean no thank you. It's just like in English when you say no, I'm good. So if someone asks you if you want to drink coffee and you don't, you can say いいです to decline the offer. At the cafe, if you buy a cup of coffee, the store clerk may ask you クリーム入れますか? Do you want cream? You can say いいです to decline the offer, meaning no thank you. Similarly, if they ask レシートいりますか? Do you need a receipt? You can respond with いいです for no. Now, when you use いいです to mean no, make sure it is clear that you mean no and not it's good to avoid the confusion. You might want to add いいえ before いいです so that it is clear to the store clerk that you don't want it. For example, いいえ、いいです makes it clear that you are declining the offer. I mentioned 3 important points to keep in mind when using the adjective いい and the phrase いいです. Number 1, you can make a positive comment about objects with いいです. To make it sound more natural, add degree adverbs such as とても or すごく and an ending particle such as よ or ね. For example, このペンはとてもいいですね or このペンはすごくいいですよ. And number 2, describing people, use the adjective いい as a modifier. If you want to say Mr. Yamada is good, meaning he's a good person, you should say 山田さんはいい人です and do not say 山田さんはいいです. And number 3, you can use いいです for polite decline, meaning no thank you. Be careful when using it, though. If you say いいですね instead, then that means it sounds good and you are actually accepting the offer. To make it clear that you are declining, you might say いいえ、いいです which means no, no thank you, no, I'm good. それでは答えてください. Please tell me you had a very healthy breakfast. とてもヘルシーな朝ごはんを食べました. Alright, you woke up in the morning. It's a beautiful day. What do you say? わあ、いい天気. Alright, and then please tell your friend that Moyo Sensei is a very good teacher. How do you say that? Alright, Moyo Sensei はとてもいい先生ですよ. Alright. ありがとうございます。